channel, Edible Thoughts Makes. My name is Stephanie, and today I have a featured finished project video for you. The way I do these videos is I go through a pattern specification section where I talk about details that the designer has provided prior to purchasing the pattern, if it is a paid for pattern. And then I go through my modifications, my process, how I picked the yarns and the colors and things like that for the project. And then at the end, I share with you some styling ideas on how I plan on wearing the item, since I usually record these videos shortly after finishing the project. Oftentimes these outfits I have not actually worn out into the wild yet, so my reactions to the outfits are being showcased to you for the first time as I'm trying things on. I provide closed captionings for all of my videos here. You'll click on that CC button, and things that I talk about will be linked in the description box below this video. If I speak faster or slower than your preferences, YouTube also allows you to adjust the speed. Today, I am sharing with you the Nolita Tank by designer Tori Yu. I have tested for Tori multiple times, but this is a pattern that I purchased shortly after it was published. I really enjoyed the process of making it and putting together my yarns. Yarn support was provided for this project by Purl Soho for the main yarn here. I will talk about it when I am in the process section. And then my two contrast colors are leftover yarns from previous projects. The original pattern is written for 2 colors, but of course you can knit it with as many colors as you want or choose 1 color to make the whole thing. So let's get into the pattern specifications. This pattern was published in June of 2025. It is a sleeveless top. The suggested yarn in the pattern is Sandnes Garnline, which is not what I used, but a yarn that I hope to try sometime in the future. It is a Norwegian yarn that comes in 120 yards for 50 grams, and it is a cotton rayon linen blend yarn that is machine washable. Gauge for this pattern is 20 stitches by 28 rows in 4 inches using the needles a US 6, which is 4 millimeter, and a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. Of course, use whatever needles you need to do to achieve gauge, and that can vary greatly depending on your tension and the yarn that you use. Yardages are given for every size, and the finished bust circumference comes in 30 inches to 62 inches. Recommended ease is 0 to 3 inches of positive ease. Tori does include lots of photos of herself wearing her sample tank in a size 2, which she says gives her 0 inches of positive ease. And there are lots of photos from test knitters because this pattern has been tech edited and tested by multiple knitters in different sizes. I love that there are photos showing the pattern knit for different sizes on different bodies because it gives makers a better idea of whether or not a pattern is going to work for them, and if they need to make any modifications, then they can better gauge if this pattern is what they are looking for. The Nolita Tank is designed top down, and there are a lot of ends to weave in. Sometimes there are just going to be a lot of ends to weave in, and that's part of the process. I feel like not knitting a pattern because there are a bunch of ends to weave in may lead to you missing out on some really great fitting patterns, and I would not choose a pattern that had less ends to weave in if it didn't fit as well. I think I said that backwards. I would not choose a pattern that didn't fit well just because it had less ends to weave in. That's what I mean to say. So, my warning is there are a lot of ends to weave in, and all of my yarns here are light fingering weight or fingering weight yarn held double, which kind of means I double the ends to weave in, but not really because I can put the 2 ends through the needle hole and just weave it in as if it was 1 strand. But anyway, at one point it did look like there was a lot of fringe going on the inside of my garment. So the construction is top down. You cast on at the shoulders and start knitting the back section. And then once you get to where the join would be, you pick up at the shoulders to knit the shaping for each of the front sections before joining the 2 front sections together, doing some more shaping, and then you join in the round and knit the rest of the body. The finishings are in the contrast color as well as the bind off that you pick up afterwards. So like mentioned, the tank is knit in a DK weight yarn. It is top down. There is a scoop neckline. I love the finishing touches in that contrast color with the I-cord edges. Pattern is written for 2 colors. You can knit it in as many colors as you want because there are different areas that you pick up. And so you could knit like the I-cord and the neckline a different color, the ones in the armbands a different color. You could finish off the body in a different color, whatever you want to do. Or you could also just knit the whole thing in one color. Tori says that the Nolita Tank was inspired and named after the lively and trend-setting neighborhood in Manhattan, New York. All right, that is the pattern rundown. We're going to go into my project. I picked the second size, and that gives me 2 inches of positive ease. I also lengthened the pattern. The pattern is written for a high hip, slightly cropped length. I added like 3 more inches to mine, which I knew was going to go past my hips, and my hip circumference is bigger than my full bust circumference by 3 inches. So I did add some A-line shaping. Once I got past the natural waist area, I did do 2 increases on each side, so 4 increases per round every, I think, 10 rounds, and I did that 3 times. So I increased in total by 12 stitches, and that just gave me more ease at the hips because I did not want negative ease at the hips. All right, I'm going to step on this step stool here, so hopefully you get a better view of the entire tank top. So I knit several inches longer. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see where I did my increases on the side, but it was past my natural waist where I started the increases because I knew it was going to be going past my hip. So this ends at a very comfortable length. My belly button is here. It probably goes like maybe 4 inches past my belly button, and that is a really comfortable length for me. I'll slowly turn around here so maybe you can get a better view of where it sits on my body. The pants I am wearing are high-waisted. I will talk about that more in the styling section on what I'm wearing, but hopefully this just gives you a better view of what it looks like. I did get gauge with the needle sizes recommended, but I also added in a US 3.25 millimeter needle for all of the I-cord bind-offs because my I-cords, just from experience, tend to be looser, and so they can look kind of sloppy, so I tend to have to go down 1 needle size. Also, this pattern does have pretty deep armholes. I don't have any of my bra showing from the sides, and it's comfortable coverage for me, but if you wanted it to cinch in a little more, I would recommend going down even another needle size for that I-cord bind off just to cinch it in a little bit. You might have to play around a little with your pickup just to make sure it doesn't pucker, but because you are picking up from a selvage edge, you can just rip the whole thing out and start again if you have to without worrying about any dropped stitches. My main color is Purl Soho's Sweetgrass. It is an undyed yarn that is a blend of organic cotton and super fine alpaca. It comes in 437 yards for 100 grams, and my main color is Buckwheat Beige. It is a slightly heathered, taupey beige warm color, and for my I-cord, I used Pale Sesame. I used Pale Sesame, which is slightly lighter, also an undyed color. I would say this is more of a creamy beige, maybe. And then for my contrast, I added in Cattail silk. This is 100% silk, also a Purl Soho base, and I had used this in a previous project. If I remember to, I'll put pictures of what my previous projects were in these yarns so you can see what they look like. But the Pale Sesame is left over from a previous project that I made, the Weekday Tee by Amy Scher, and I did not hold a double. That one I held on its own, so it's a fingering weight tee. And then the Cattail silk I did hold double in the Summer Saunter by Samantha Guerin. So I thought these yarns together would look like a really nice neutral. I still get a little bit of that pop of color, but it's neutral enough that it makes it easy to wear with anything. Buckwheat Beige, I was a little bit nervous of it looking too close to skin tone, and so I wanted to add this lighter color for my I-cord just to have a little bit more of a contrast, and I thought that worked out really nicely. I do really enjoy working with this Sweetgrass yarn. I would say if you're allergic to alpaca, maybe it's not your best option. I don't feel like it's itchy at all. However, I do feel like it can be a little bit warm, and if I wear this in warm or hot weather, I definitely feel a little bit of a prickle. I don't like to wear any sort of wool once it gets above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and so this type of garment is going to be worn in cooler weather like spring, or fall or winter layered with other items. I'm not particularly worried about the alpaca content in here, but if you are someone that tends to run warm and wants to wear this as a warm weather garment, I would say maybe not your best option. Plus, it's held double, so it's thicker, and that's going to add to the warmth as well. I don't find this yarn splitty at all. It is really soft in hand and pretty durable. I didn't have the yarn breaking at any point. It does have a slight fuzz to it. All right, now I am going to turn the camera vertically so I can share with you some ways that I plan on wearing this tank top. All right, first up, we have these June pants. If you've been here for some time, you will have seen multiple versions of these June pants. It is a pattern by Helen's Closet, a Canadian company. I just love their patterns. They are very size inclusive, shape inclusive. They really break it down on what the different terminology means so that you can be confident in making your item. I love these pants. They have an elastic waist. They have these pockets that don't flap around everywhere because they are secured on the top of the waistband, and I just find them super comfortable. So I have a Moby Daisy print here in cotton, and I feel like the mauve color really connects with the lilac in this trim area, and I really like it together. I feel like it's very comfortable. I can tuck the top in if I want to. I feel like that might make it look a little less relaxing at home loungewear, like I could wear this out, but it's like secret pajamas maybe. I'm going to throw on a jean jacket. I think that'll do the trick. Okay, with the jean jacket, I definitely feel more comfortable wearing it out in the sense that it doesn't just look like relax wear or loungewear. Not that I have clothing that's specifically for loungewear, but I just feel like this really puts it together. Plus I have these dangly earrings. I forgot to mention earlier, these are Birdie Parker earrings, and I just love them so much. They have a design of the knit stitches here on the copper area, and I love them. But the dangly earrings plus the tucked in tank and the pants and the jean jacket, I really like this. Okay, next one. All right. I have on this self-drafted skirt, and this also has an elastic waist. It's a tiered gathered skirt that I made with a lot of different fabrics, mostly linen, and then we have some paneling of this plaid left over from a previous project. I really like this together as well. I can tuck it or not, and I feel like this is something also super easy to throw on. Because the top is a neutral, I really can pair it with anything. I'm gonna try on maybe one more item, maybe two. Okay, this is a self-drafted elastic waisted skirt with pockets, inseam pockets. The print has on this like shimmery, coppery design, which isn't throughout the whole thing, but just this coppery part. And I feel like that goes really well with my coppery earrings. And yeah, this is fun. I like this a lot. I would definitely wear this out. I could also throw on that jean jacket. I feel like this is an easy and great combo. I'm going to try on one more thing, and then I think that's all the time that I have. All right, I decided to throw it on with a pair of jeans. I feel like this is also something that's super easy to wear, and I probably wouldn't tuck the top in. I would just leave it out. The waistband is all the way up here. They are high-waisted jeans that go right up to my belly button, and so there's plenty of coverage. But because I did my A-line shaping, it isn't tight. It's nice and flowy. I feel like that's a nice silhouette. I'm going to grab a linen shirt to throw over it. This is a lightweight, very pale pink linen shirt. I feel like with a button-up shirt and this tank top and jeans, this would be a super easy outfit to pack when traveling. It's great for every day, but also that extra layer is nice for wind, for sun, but then I still feel like my core is warm. So I would definitely wear this in like temperatures of 50s to 60s, and then low 70s would probably be my max, just because of the alpaca content in this yarn and that it is DK weight. I feel like it wouldn't be particularly cooling if I wore it in like 80-degree Fahrenheit weather. But this is an outfit I would definitely wear. Super easy, it's fun, it still looks put together, and it's very comfortable. All right, I think that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. I hope this clarified some things about the pattern that maybe you had questions about. Of course, I always refer you to the designer if you have any pattern related questions. I hope this also gave you some ideas on how you might make this tank your own, how you might wear it with different items that you already have in your closet. Cheers to being creative, and I'll talk to you next time.